All right, we are live. Greetings, fellow traders. Let me get this tweet out so everybody can join in here. 1 second. Awesome, awesome, awesome. All right, let me just make sure everything's coming through okay here. Awesome, awesome. All right, good, good, good. Well, I hope everybody had a great trading day today, and we are going to be continuing our discussion this week on IPOs and strategies for IPOs. And today we're going to be covering Zoominfo, a recent IPO. So this should be a good one. I know y'all asked about it last night, but we're going to cover it today in a little more detail and take a look at some of the strategies on this IPO. Before we do that, though, everything we're going to talk about is for educational purposes only and not investment advice. So please take a moment to review this disclaimer. All right. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Good. All right. So we're going to check and see where we left off with the market today, and then we're going to take a look at futures, and then we'll go over the topic, and then we'll take a look at questions and chart requests. So let's get started. So here's the SPX from today, up 58 points. Wow. Huge move today. Except the majority of it came from the gap, right? So that was kind of interesting there, but still green monthly chart. Weekly chart is still pretty strong as well. It's we're over the 30 weekly moving average. That's a good thing. RSI is here, so let's see if it can kind of work its way back up again. If we do, right, we got that big open gap here from the Corona crash. See if we can get that filled. Daily chart, okay, a little bit more complex. So I like the weekly chart, right? Nice candles, right? But here, whoo, what a crazy reversal, right? V reversal, and here we are. Back above the upward trend line today. So a big portion of this came from the gap and some crazy whipsaw action today. But we're over the 80 MA, we're over the 21, we're over the 200, and the 50 is still rising. So let's take a look at the price action and see what happened here today. So pretty cool stuff. So it was interesting, right? So we had a open gap right here. The open gap got filled today. So this is always a key thing to look at, right, on the intraday. Just kind of just keep track. You know, on the SPX, a little bit harder on the ES because of the price movement. But the SPX is good, right? This does show you, nice gap fills, and you could see that was a perfect area of support here today, and we got a nice bounce out of it. We gapped up, right? We couldn't push, right? We had this nice inside 15 right here, a little bit of an upper shadow, kind of like a little bit of an ominous overtone right into the market right there at the open. We pushed it up. We had a hammer right here, but turned into a hanging man, and then we flushed down. Right. What happened today? Well, Powell was talking on Capitol Hill, virtually. Everybody's virtual, wasn't really on Capitol Hill, but chatting there, and didn't do well, right? So we'll take a look at the futures here in a second, but it was the futures really pushed up really hard, and we're trying to get up to where we got to on Fed Day, and then instead of saying, hey, the economy's looking good, he's basically like, oh, the economy's not good, it's going to take a long time to recover, and the market did not like that, but it did technically hold the gap right here and bounced off of it, gave a huge fast reversal. This is a fast down move, and they gave a fast reversal off of this one. There's some tools that we use, and some folks caught some nice reversals in the group today from some stuff that we teach, and this gave a nice move up right here. He had a double inside 15 at the 15 hour blow, couldn't break above that, tried to break down a little bit. We caught a little short here today. We thought maybe it'd be a little bit more, and it just turned into a scalpy type move. Good thing we did, because it was a fast reversal right there, and then it worked its way down, and then they closed it up at the close. So it was kind of an interesting, just really kind of choppy price action type day today. I thought we were going to go for an H reversal right here, right? We had the, we've talked about the H pattern before, right? If we go here, we got about, at the time we were at about a 61.8 retrace of the range today, and it looked like it might be trying to work its way back down, but it just couldn't quite do it today. So it really ended up being kind of a choppy day today. So you had to be really specific and tactical with the setups today. So here's a look at the levels that we provide to our members. So pretty cool stuff. Right, you can see here, we tested this level a couple times here today. We tested the weekly pivot level right here, and then we filled the gap right here. We didn't fill the closing gap, but we filled the open gap right here, bounced off of that, and then we chopped between levels here today. So pretty interesting stuff. So good. Well, let's take a look at the futures and see what they're up to here this evening, or down to. So down about 8 points with some more choppy action here today. So you can see some of the stuff that we looked at right here. So when we were breaking down, we were looking at some triangle breakdowns. We had a double triangle move right here to the downside, and then just kind of testing between levels. So right now we're in some super duper choppy area right here. One of the things we can do just into this evening is go ahead and put a triangle on this into tonight and see where this takes us. Right, so it's getting pretty tight in here. So let's see what they decide to do here this evening. If they try to get out of this choppy range, if it breaks down here, we might see a test of these lows again tonight. Or if we break out again, we've got a couple key levels here that we need to get above. And again, kind of getting above the highs here. From the retail sales numbers, we had really strong retail sales numbers that came out unexpectedly strong. It looked like we were going to have like a nice trending day today, but they reversed it really quickly, and then Powell spoke, and we had all this stuff going on. So it ended up being this gap and chop type move today. So up 50 something points, but it was not. It didn't feel like it, right? It just felt like a bunch of like a grinder today. So anyway, so see how we hold within this triangle range right here tonight, and where we end up tomorrow. We'll see, and then we'll be ready to trade it. So good stuff. All right, so let's talk about the topic for this week and today. So again, we're going over IPOs. So we're just kind of zoning in on some of the recent IPOs here, and we're also talking about strategies for those IPOs. So we talked about the 15 orbs, we talked about the daily levels, and we're going to talk about a little, just kind of identify those on some of these other names that are out there. So good stuff. So let's take a look at ZoomInfo today. So ZoomInfo is ticker ZI. This is a new IPO. Okay, so this is based out of Vancouver, Washington. It's a go-to-market intelligence platform for sales and marketing teams. So kind of like a CRM type thing. So it'll be an interesting one to see how it how it holds up in the market. But let's take a look and see how it's been so far. So let's go to the daily chart and see what's. So it's only been out for really just a few weeks. And if we go to the daily chart, let's take a look at the price action. So cool stuff. So this is what we were covering yesterday. All right, so you can see here on the daily chart, very, very important stuff, right? So a lot of times we see with IPOs, we see an initial move down. The problem with IPOs initially that it is you can't short it, right? So that's one of the hard things, and a lot of times there's not options, right? So what we do, so the key is to look for key areas to go long, right? And a lot of these IPOs that we see, and this is kind of what we're talking about today, and we saw it on like DKNG, we saw Nikola, are these inside day patterns, right? So a lot of times we get these consolidation patterns. If it's looking strong, right, we have an inside day, and then we see a push off of that. So that's something that's definitely a key thing to look for, right? If we just go back and just look at DKNG, right, right, DKNG, right, we had a consolidated pattern right here through these levels, and then we got an inside day. And once we get that inside day, if we could break above that, we start to move, and that's what we saw here on Nikola too. That was the other one that we talked about this week. Right, so we had a kind of a move up here on the 8th, inside day, and then that fresh move, that break to the upside right here. Of course, that was part of the merger thing on Nikola. But if we go back to ZI, we can see right here, same thing, right? So this inside day is a key move, is a key important level to see. If we can get above that, we can see a move up, right? So what are inside days? What are the inside bars? We've talked about this a bunch in the past, but these are areas of interest, right? These are areas of price indecision, right? So initially, price tried to push its way down, right? And that happens a lot on IPOs. It happens, unfortunately, on many of them, especially back in 2019, where they did like Uber and things like that, where they just flush. SDC, a lot of they just flush the open because there's a lot of folks that get rich on day one, right? There's so 24 million shares traded, so they dump them a lot at the open to take profit, right? And we don't even get to participate in that. They just folks that were in on the IPO and were able to take profit on day one, so they push that down there. And then these inside days are areas of indecision, and then we can look to see if it's going to take that inside down or up. And if we get a gap up above that, a lot of times we can see follow through to the upside on that. So let's take a look at that. So day 2 was June 5th. So let's go back here, back to June 5th. Let's see if we go back that far here. This should take us back to the 9th. Let's go back a couple more days. Okay, let's go back here. All right, so here we go. So June 5th, right? So this is your, okay, so here's your day 1 drop, right? Here's your inside day, right? And you can see the next day we got a nice gap, a push above that, right? So nice pre-market trading on that, and that gave a great opportunity for a move the next day at the open, right? So basically took that inside day up and then took those pre-market levels to the upside for a nice move at the open, and then continued to work its way up a few days after that. So once it peaked at 64, and then it worked its way down. So definitely a key thing to keep an eye on right there are these inside days off of IPOs. So good stuff. So we'll keep an eye on ZoomInfo to see how that's working right here. I like how it actually went up initially. If we put a trend line on this right now, right? You'll see we go to the high, to the low, and we could go off that inside day. So we're right below it right now, but it's got an ADMA already. And so let's see how it holds that ADMA going forward and see if we can get back above that trend line and try to work its way back up. So good stuff. Well, I hope you guys found that helpful. At this point, if anybody has any questions or chart requests, please feel free to plug those in the chat window, and we'll get through as many as we can and try to wrap up as early as possible so we can all get a good night's sleep and have another awesome trading day tomorrow. We've got 3 more trading days this week, so we are looking forward to it, sir, for some more fun price action. So let's take a look. So Shirley took a little day off yesterday, took a little break, and is back here today. So thank you for sending these in. Got a few good ones here on the list. So we've got Roku. Look at Roku today. Huge volume, big breakout candle on this one. Very, very impressive day on Roku. Okay, so it's been consolidated for a while. We've been tracking this one for a while. Occasionally it does start to move, and today it started to move again, right? So we managed to get basically above the trend box. Right, so here is your recent level right here, and the cloud. We talked about this yesterday. If we get strong, we might see a push up to the 200 day. So we're getting pretty close to that. This is one of those key ones where you kind of have to be in intraday. A big candle like this is a little bit tough, especially if we have like a little gap down tomorrow. Right, it might chop around a little bit, but with some runners, this is a good one to try to get a push up to the 200 day. If we look at the intraday price action, really some beautiful moves today. Initially at the open it was strong, and that was kind of one of the key things with Roku today was the early market strength. When Powell was talking, everything was really flushing, but Roku stayed strong, right? And it actually gave a decent little breakout right here off of this. Oh, let's get the trend line back up on this one. Nice little inside 15 right here, right on this this bull flag pullback. It gave a nice move up, right? We pointed this out in our group today. And then it triangulated and gave a double inside 15. It could break down another inside 15 and started to work its way up. And then the volume started coming in, right? So the rumors of a potential buyout. Some people think Google. Some people think Walmart's going to buy them out. I originally thought when they first went public, I was like, wow, what a great candidate for Apple. Because when they went public, Apple was exploring on improving their Apple TV sector. And I was like, wow, what a perfect opportunity for Apple to scoop up Roku at a cheap price, right? Because they're so cash rich, and what a great acquisition that would be. But they never did, right? So now it's a $120 stock, and the rumors on the buyout really got this thing going today. So it was a big flow today and big volume. We got a nice breakout of here. And look at that symmetrical move from the lows. Up, triangle, up, right? Perfect symmetry on that one. Just a beautiful move on Roku today. So good stuff. Nice find on that one, Shirley. And what else? We got Coop. Yeah, so Coop, great follow through. I know y'all have been tracking this one for a little bit here too. I did like the candle yesterday. I liked the volume, and once it pushed over these highs, these recent pivot levels, it got a nice move on Coop today. So again, bullish still proven otherwise. Let's see if it can continue to work its way up. Fresh high, fresh trend line, and there we go. So looking good there on Coop. LVGO. Again, I know you guys have been enjoying this one too. A couple nice moves out here. It finally got a breakout move today as well. It didn't care about anything Powell was saying today, right? So it's a good move on LVGO. Square, we actually caught this one on the live stream this morning. I liked Square. It was a good, right, nice bull flag. We talked about it. Had a great candle yesterday. The volume was a little bit blah, but the gap up today gave it some potential for a gap and go, right? So if you look at Square, right, we're at all-time highs, right? So we got a nice move up there. And then today's intraday price action was great at the open. It gave a nice move initially, right? We were able to catch this, 15 order move right here, and it gave it a good push. So we were able to make a little bit on it, but we had to be cautious into the Powell statement, and so another good place to take profits. But a good move on the live stream that we pointed out here today. That also one of our members actually brought it to our attention, which is great. Let's take a look at Baidu. So Baidu's looking pretty interesting right here. So this is a kind of an island top right there so far. So let's see, there's a huge gap right here with a big red candle on some big volume. Now, one of the cool things is it basically gapped above, and held this big drop down level from the Corona crash. And so it would have been nicer if it was a green candle, but let's see how that holds the support. A breakdown below these lows could start to see a move back and test a couple of these levels here and then the open cap. So just be careful with this one. It's not exactly a bullish candle. But anyway, good stuff. Yeah, but it's still above the upper trend line, so we'll see how it handles it. So good stuff. Thanks, Shirley. Hope you have a great rest of your evening. Andrew, what's going on? Thanks for tuning in. Shop. Yeah, Shop is pretty cool. This is definitely going to be on the radar for tomorrow. Again, we loved this candle yesterday with the volume. I love the breakout of the triangle. Now, this triangle is really tight. Not my favorite type of triangle. I prefer, like a larger symmetrical triangle or a bigger geometric line. This is a very steep triangle right here, very tight. But it did give a nice gap up right here, and it held. Right, it held the range today. It closed a little bit weak, but this still could be a doji sandwich up and tomorrow and try to give a push to all-time highs on it. So we're going to keep an eye on that one. Nice one. Thanks for bringing that one up. Good. The Nest, ABMD, let's take a look, see how that one did today. Yeah, it gave you a nice little gap up today off the inside day, and it held the inside day high, so that's nice. Piton, hung in there, right? It gave a little bit of a gap down today. It retested the highs and gave you an outside day today. So again, it was one to be cautious on going into today. But it gave a nice move at the open, right? So that was one of the things, a nice buy the dip opportunity here at the open, and I like that, right? So this was one of the ones that has been on the radar. Today they were talking about second waves of Corona, Beijing, going on lockdown basically in China. So we're really talking about more issues with Corona today. So some of the Corona stocks were really good at the open day, like Zoom gave a nice move this morning, gave a nice push. We tried to get in that, but the spreads were a little bit crazy. But it gave a nice move today. So we saw that with a lot of those names today, and both were kind of similar with their recent all-time highs. Same with Peloton. Chegg. Nice move up today, right? It kind of gapped up, pushed down, but it reclaimed the areas right there. And I like how it closed above these levels. Still below this geometric line right here. So let's see if we can get above there with some volume to give you a breakout move. Twilio, very, very strong today. This one's been strong for a while, right? Since earnings, right? It's really held its gap really well. It's broken out through some geo levels. It's been pretty tricky. But one of the big things with this one today is that the options weren't very forgiving today. So it was not one we looked at it this morning on some strength here today. Inside 15 up for a big move. If you can get in right, it's good. But sometimes those spreads can be really crazy. But it gave a nice move today and ended up pushing to all-time highs. So that's good on Twilio, and then APT. Hanging in there, so it's right at the 50-day, bunch of upper shadows right here, so see if you can get above those levels there. You got some nasty cloud stuff going on above, but this one's been a bruiser, right? So with its this huge triangle that just keeps on expanding, right? So it's like you got this right here. I do like these triangles. I just mentioned it, this type of symmetrical triangle right here. But on the daily, it can be a real pain, right? We still need to see a breakout out of these levels with some volume. Try to work its way up. Maybe it'll chop for like a week or so, and then do it here over this thin cloud. That would be kind of cool. So something to keep an eye on there. And then FMCI. Yep, still pushing here. Which one? Is this the burger one, or is this the this is the tattooed chef one, right? That's going to become tattooed chef. So they're pushing it up still. So this is kind of really interesting discussion, and kind of appropriate here for this week as we've been talking about IPOs. Just one of those techniques, same way Nikola did it. So it looks like this tattooed chef's going to do it. Right, these are ones definitely to keep an eye on for some activity on it. And it's gave a good push today off of these upper shadows, and then gave a nice breakout here to fresh highs on it. So definitely want to keep an eye on there. OPES, nice gap up on that one too. This one is the Better Burgers, right? So nice gap up on this one and a good hold on this one. I like how a lot of these kind of non-index names are getting some good moves. And then GPAC, another one. Which one was this? This is the Hoff Village or something like that. So pretty cool right there. Inside day up, just big shadows, a little bit tricky on this one, but cool, good stuff. Good, Kim, what's going on? Thanks for tuning in. Ready for the bubble whammy? I like it. No whammies. Can you take a look at D-Dog? Let's take a look at D-Dog. So D-Dog has just been perpetually decent, but it's also been perpetually challenging, right? So it's not really necessarily fun for options, maybe the kind of long-term leap type things because of all its crazy upper shadows, but it just continues to work its way up to fresh highs, so looking pretty good there. FSLY, everybody's been liking this one too. A strong candle yesterday and got some good follow through to the upside today, so very nice on that. Could be a doji sandwich into tomorrow if it wants to stay strong. It's at 49.68, keeps on getting bought up on Piton. Yeah. Coincidence? Maybe. I mean, let's take a look. So you got Piton right here. So I mean, it's definitely holding these 49.68 is your high right here. So yeah, so good area for it to continue to hold. Definitely a key level. No coincidence. Mike, what's going on? Thanks for tuning in. Yeah, Chopathon for sure. Exactly. Great description. Let's take a look at Tesla, and see how that's doing here today. So great candle yesterday. Volume was a little bit, but it did gap up today. Gave a nice gap up. Got over 1,000 again, pretty nicely. And then it pulled back pretty hard here today, intraday. It gave you those lower shadows, but I do love the inside 15 breakdown here through the 15 or below, and then it gave a push here through our 60 anchor. Another inside 15, and then pushed its way down. So it did give some opportunities, but wow, just a tricky trader day with the chop fest, with the chopathon. Amazon, decent gap for the this wedge, or this potential bull flag right here to the trend line. So let's see if that gets more follow through the upside in tomorrow. Actually had a pretty decent day yesterday despite being an inside day. DKNG, again, hopefully this turns into a doji sandwich because I really like this this candle breakout here out of the bull flag with a great volume. So let's see if today was just a pause day, then it tries to work its way up from there. So that's definitely something we're going to be tracking on that. Good stuff. Thanks, Mike. ZEK, what's going on? IQ. Wow. Big gap up on IQ today. So this was a big mover this morning. What do we get here this morning? Stocks are at 10-cent aims to buy a large stake. Okay, so supposedly a Chinese company is trying to buy a Chinese company or put a big stake in a Chinese company. So it got a huge gap up on that news. But great stuff. The good thing is that there was a huge candle yesterday that we talked about. Now, the upper shadow at the 200-day moving average, I didn't really like it. I mean, we're range bound right here. But this is one way to get out of the range, right? So it gave a nice move up there. But where did it gap to? Gapped into some selling pressure, right? And what do we see intraday? Couldn't get over its pre-market highs, right? So we do our 15 orb technique. We got a breakdown right here, right at the inside 15 down, and a push down. And then, of course, the news of a wave 2 in China didn't quite help these names today. So something to keep an eye on. Let's see if it holds. But it's got a big lower shadow too, so it might kind of chop around in that range for a little bit. Watch that gap though. WRTC, Wrap Technologies. Wouldn't be surprised to see this start to get more move up, right? They're talking about, doing police reform and all that stuff. So we've got inside day today. So let's see if I can push up here and see if WRTC can, get some action going on there. Oracle, we got earnings, tonight, right? So let's take a look here. I think they were kind of iffy. Let's take a look. Yes, they're down a little bit on earnings, but barely even below yesterday's low. So they're kind of around 52.80. Again, it's just coming back. It looks like it's going to gap right in the middle of this chop fest. So just look for some funky price action on this one. Here's a kind of fresh pivot low. Let's see if we get over today's highs if it wants to be strong tomorrow. But pretty interesting stuff there. There's probably going to be most likely choppy in that chop range. So CLSN, what a huge move today. Look at that. Decent candle yesterday with good volume. Once it broke through those highs, gave an explosive move on that one. So that's a fun one on a penny stock. We like that. And then Hooyah. Hooyah didn't really get as much move as IQ, but it did rally off of that. So it kind of came into this gap right here and basically filled it. So let's see, it's decent hammer right here, but a little decreased volume. So just kind of see how that holds or if it turns into a hanging man going in tomorrow. So good stuff. Good. Michael, what's going on? Thanks for tuning in. MRSN. Okay, yeah, decent move up here today. Wow, big decreased volume, but it is trying to work its way out of these geometric levels right here. Had decent volume yesterday, so got a little follow through in that one. See if you get a doji sandwich move to the upside on that. GLW. A little bit of a pause day here today, so but trying to work its way up right here. So decent candle yesterday with okay volume, but still decreasing, and it's kind of in the chop zone right here. A little bit. Baggish, what's going on? Good evening. Hope you're doing well. X Country Kev, DGLY. Let's take a look. Thanks, guys. Digital Ally. So decent candle yesterday. I like the bounce off the ADMA. So it got a little gap up today and just kind of closed within its range. So it's a tricky one, right? So this is one of those. It's basically kind of triangulating here. So let's look for another breakout candle on that one. And then ACB. ACB. So we got boom, boom, boom. Right, a little bit of a descending triangle type action right here. So it's we want to see it break out at all. I mean the pot sector was actually pretty strong today. CGC actually had a really decent close today and had some good intraday action with some volume intraday. Right, so it's there was a couple candles that got bought up here at the end of the day with some decent volume. But something to keep an eye right here. Again, this is probably the best in breed in the group. Good. Thank you. Paul, what's going on? Thanks for tuning in. Yeah, ZS, great chart on that one on your Twitter. I like that one. So Z-scale are looking interesting right here. Again, we had a geometric line right here, which you couldn't get out of before. So now we've got this going on right here. Some levels to get out of. And we see ourselves basically turn into a pennant. So let's see if we get a breakout one way or the other on this one. Good stuff. Thank you, Paul. J-Moss, what's going on? Thanks for tuning in. Hope you're doing well. Apple. Apples and bananas. This one was tricky today. So it was it looked like it was going to close weak, or it was a red candle, and then they snuck it up at the end of the day, right? So it was so it could be pretty interesting going into into tomorrow. It actually gave kind of like a little mini megaphone right here. We had an inside and then an outside, and really started to expand. And then it actually broke down through that megaphone right here for a move down when Powell was talking. So it gave that. We caught this here, this inside 15 for a long today. You might have seen me tweeting out earlier. It gave a nice little candle up. I was hoping to get a little bit more of a push up to the 15 orb high. It eventually got here, so we took profit here, and we avoided some of this chop right here. But a little bit, it held a little bit extra, right, as it held the ADMA. It did get to the 15 orb high today, so it did its job. But just kind of gave some choppy price action there, so I was happy with a little bit of profit there, and then came back down, lower shadow, and then up at the end of the day to form like this northern doji, this hammer type move right here with increased volume. So let's see if the market, if the futures do recover tonight, which they already are because it's forever bullish. So by 3 a.m. we'll probably up 50 points, 20 or 30 or something like that. But we could see Apple get a move to the upside and try to get up to all-time highs on that. So definitely on the radar there. Let's take a look at Roku. Roku, super duper strong. Great candle, great breakout candle out of the trend box. Great push over the cloud. Just a little bit of 200-day resistance above. We'll see if we get some more follow through tomorrow. Again, some buyout rumor type stuff. SLG. Big on the July 240 calls, by the way. I think there was like 54,000 volume today on that, if you guys are interested in that. Anyway, kind of interesting. Let's see how those end up turning out. They're about like 80 cents. So SLG still looking pretty interesting right here. A little bit of a hanging man, but still holding its ADMA on that one. And then Infin. Good gap up today. Hanging man at the cloud. Let's see if we can get over these highs right here and then try to push above that 200-day moving average again and then see where it goes from there. It's good stuff. Thank you so much. Thanks for tuning in. Rocky, what's going on? NCLH. Let's take a look. I tell you guys, I never encourage gambling in the market, but a lot of people like to do it anyway. These days, like the ones to just to go for an overnight on, if you feel bullish on it, or bearish on it, go for the airlines or the cruise lines. I mean, these things are always gapping up or down like 10% like each morning, right? So it's just these ones just move. It's just so funny. But anyway, so big gap up on this one today, and then it reversed and then gave you a lower shadow off the ADMA. So let's see how that holds right here. Kind of stuck in the cloud, but it's got some potential over the next couple of days to try to get out of it. So let's see how that does. And then X, is it time? It was a little bit ago, a couple weeks ago, gave a move up and then pulled back down, pretty sharply there. Actually looks a lot like Boeing in a lot of ways, right? The way that Boeing had that epic move up right here. I mean, it's generally still holding trend. Nice gap up today. So now let's just see if it can hold and stay above the 200-day moving average. Good stuff. NK, what's going on? Thanks for tuning in. DA, yeah, my pleasure. Hope you're doing well. GE. Yeah, so GE, nice gap up today. Hold on one sec. Make sure this is the right stuff here. Yep, so GE, very, very similar to actually the X chart too. Gap up, down, but held the ADMA on this one. Still kind of stuck in the cloud there. Let's see if it can get going. This is a tough one to really get going. But definitely one to look at there. It's it can trade pretty smoothly on the options. MGM was looking interesting at the open today too. But once we heard about the second wave today, like we said, the Zoom, the Piton, those ones started going up, and then the MGMs and the airlines and those ones started going down. So those were the ones to really look at when Powell was talking today. They gave some good, and the banks were pretty good. They gave some opportunities today. We pointed out JP Morgan is a short today too. So it's just pretty blah on that one right now. IWM, just struggling to break out, right? I mean, it's still below the 200-day. It's just tough, right? Even yesterday had a good green candle, but low volume or decreased volume, so it made it a little bit tough too. But it did get the upside follow through. Again, this is the key one, right? These are the small, the Russell. These are the ones, kind of the bread and butter stocks. These are the ones that, if the economy's getting really good, these are the ones you expect to go. So it's kind of a almost a better barometer of what's going on. But we'll see. We'll see how that goes into tomorrow. But let's see if we can get over the 200-day. Can't break out. I know exactly. Yeah, and then T. Oh, I'd say we're still stocking this one. Bearish again off of a bearish engulfing week last week. So we're still stocking this. So the market really gets weak. This is one. If we can see it break out of the cloud, it could give a move down, but it's just not budging. And then WW, right? So that we talked about this last night. Right, so it gave a gap up, look at that, and it went right into this gap right here. So this is a nice one to look at here for a potential gap and go move. Right, what did it do? Once we got above the 15 orb levels and the pre-market levels, we got a nice move up. Right, so 76 cents, a couple bucks, right? So a nice move, right? Not a bad trade to get that to the upside. Then it's, did its little choppy thing, into the end of the day. But a nice move up at the open on that volatility. So, and it got that gap fill right there, and it tested that into that prior inside day level. So good stuff. And then Intel. Again, very similar to a lot of names today gave these kind of hanging man type patterns right here. But gap up in reverse, it's still holding its 50-day. So let's see if it can continue to hold right there. It didn't get back into the inside day. It basically closed right above it. But if it does try to push back in there, it might want to test those lows, down to the cloud. So we got that going on. Kim, so what kind of Powell follow through can we expect, or does that only work when he's tanking the market? Yeah, so hopefully we don't see chop follow through. That would be pretty rough. But yeah, I mean it was an iffy day. It wasn't Fed day, but it was enough to kind of squirrel things up a little bit intraday. So it gave us some opportunities, but it was definitely a tricky one. So we'll see. I mean, it's just more emphasis on hey, there's actually issues out there in the economy, despite what the market is doing. So we'll see how that goes. MU had a couple opportunities today. It started to get strong in the morning. It was strong in the rest of the semiconductor sector. So when you see something that's kind of out of balance there with the rest of its sector, chances are it probably plays catch up. So it gave a decent strong move here this morning. The volume did end up decreasing on it and it pushed down there with the rest of the market, and then really just chopped for the rest of the day, making it really challenging there. But pretty interesting. So we'll see how that goes. DA, you heard through the grapevine that Zoom is around 318 if we are Fibonacciing it up. So yeah, so let's take a look. So yeah, so it could be kind of ish like a harmonic. It's not really what we normally look at, right? Normally we see a downward harmonic right here. We could kind of look at this. Let me get a clear drawing set on this one. So if we look at this as the first move down, this could be kind of your harmonic move up and then down, and then maybe it's working on like a crab type pattern right here. Let's take a look and see what the extension is off of that. So if we go from here to here and back, yeah, so it's above the 2.618, but it's got a little bit of room to go to get to the 3.618. So let's see how it does up there around that 250 level, and if it wants to find that as a potential butterfly reversal. I'm sorry, a crab reversal area on that one. So good stuff. Bagash, yeah, let's say like Nicola. So Nicola did give a gap up this morning off of yesterday's move, but it really pulled back pretty quickly. Let's see how it holds. It's still holding the ADMA on this one. Just kind of chopping around right now. It feels like it had that CNBC pump a little bit, and then and that was it. So after its offering, it was just kind of blah. So yeah, so I definitely want to keep an eye on, but it's one that could still potentially be have some hype. Nvidia gapped up over the inside day high, gave you a lower shadow on this one today. Bagash, and ended up holding the upper shadow right here. So it does have some potential for some more upside movement if it continues to hold its trend line. Caterpillar, nice gap up today, but no real, nothing really interesting. I looked at it at one point today. It was, started to move a little bit, double inside 15, worked its way down the rest of the market, then a lot of chop on that one. That's not a fun one to be in. But yeah, so a little bit of a chop fest there, but it's over the 200 day, so it's got that going on for it. Microsoft, decent move, right? So it was, you kind of had the, and it's now basically over this geometric line right here. So it's some good volume. Let's see if maybe this turns into like a doji sandwich and tries to retest those highs. It's definitely one to keep an eye on. It's had some good intraday trades recently, especially when it went to those all-time highs there. Let's see, WW. Again, we just looked at this one here. So nice gap up here today, right? It filled this open gap right here, but it couldn't get over any major pivot levels. So just see if it could build from here and try to hold the gap. Good stuff. The Nest, what's going on? Thanks for tuning in. Hope you're doing well. Yeah, so take two. Take two kind of hanging in there a little bit, right? So getting kind of tight, right? So we got, kind of a triangle pattern right here. Just check out these ranges, and it's just a really, really tight triangular pattern, right? So let's look at this right here. So let's see if we get a breakout one way or the other. Again, that was the 50% of the candle that it needed to hold previously, but it's also corresponding with kind of this resistance zone. So let's see if we get over that 140 with some volume, and maybe it try to work its way back up again. OI, hanging in there, upper shadow, pulled back a little bit to its ADMA, so just struggling there with the 200-day. XLU, yeah, they nice gap up today on the XLU, and then pulled back pretty quickly on that one. So you got like your SO, with the pullback there. Your don't forget, guys, that what was it, the CPB or the not CPB, but the CPE, the California company that they're actually pressing charges for manslaughter for their negligence and their wildfires. So pretty wild stuff on that one. So yeah, so utilities didn't hold that news too well. MNST, yep, Monster. I don't know why I put Microsoft on that one. Second. Monster. So the caffeine stocks. So this is one of them, right? So this is a rough little move down today. But again, so see how it's holding this geometric line right here. So you can get a breakout on that one way or the other. And DAU1. I like it. Let's take a look. Yeah. Somebody won today. Look at that. Urban won. Let's take a look. Yeah, lots of pause trading, resume trading today. Crazy. Tons of circuit breakers on this. Wow, this thing is just nuts. So anyway, yeah, definitely an LOL on this one. Looks crazy. If anybody likes trading the craziness right there. But huge move today. Huge move. It looks like an option chart, on a huge spike. Yeah, Slob, the oil was struggling a little bit today too. They had a nice gap up and then had that pull back here today too. So on Schlumberger. So Kim, was today's close strong? Good to fight for and hold the 8-day and get the UTL back, but a strong day would have been taking out the 15 orb high and fighting for the closing gap. Yeah, so it's tough, right? So yeah, having that closing gap filled would have been nice today. On the SPX and the SPY. So now we really just have to see what it wants to do. I mean, we are over the trend line, right? But we're still trend boxing too, right? We really need to get above this zone right here. And once we can do that and get into the gap, then it's a little bit more bullish, right? Because the trend line shifts and basically maintaining that channel high. But then it starts to get extended up there, and then we might see a pullback too. So it's just been really tricky in this move up here, but it is what it is. Michael, what's going on? Let's take a look. Let's see what we got here. So we've got RPRX. Let's take a look. Yeah, looks like we got a fresh IPO. So definitely want to keep an eye on right here. Good. Okay, so crazy action. It wasn't a red candle today, so that's good. Well, it's got some definite levels for us to keep an eye on, right? So let's see how this level holds, and let's see how the 15 orb level holds for into tomorrow. Right, so which looks like it's almost corresponding here with the high of the day. So very key level there at the high of the day. So to be tracking on this one. So good, yeah. Thank you so much. And then BA, I know all over the place, but it is holding its recent trend line, right? So I like how it got out of this crazy triangle that we had for a while, and now we're holding this trend line up. So it couldn't hold above the cloud. It came back in, filled this open gap from the top down, and now let's just see if it can hold that going into tomorrow. Dave, what's going on? GWPH, let's take a look. All right. Spinning top right at the 8-day moving average. So, again, this is another kind of pot sector type one. So let's see how that holds to see if that can push up there. What's going on? Good to see you. Yeah, so what's UTL mean in all my tweets? So UTL and DTL, that's your upward trend line and your downward trend line. Let me put a link here at the bottom of the screen here. We did a great video on this one. We did a 3-minute video just kind of explaining it all. So let's get that pulled up here for you. And 1 second. Okay, so let's see. So I'm going to put that at the bottom of the screen here. 1 sec. Bottom of the chat box. There you go. So definitely check that one out. It's 3 minutes, and it goes through everything to explain what the how we use it, how we look at trend lines. Good stuff. Thanks for how you drew the trend line on ZI. Miss how you did. Yeah, so ZI, let's take a look. So remember, okay, so our KKDK, so this is another one too, right? So this is a good recap on that video. So what we do is, so we go here, we go to the lows, to the highs, right? And then between that low and that high, we look for a point, a low of any other candles. Right, so if we go to this first one, well, that's not it. That intersects, this candle and this candle. If we go to this one right here, well, it still intersects the first candle. So you got to go to this one right here. Okay, so you go to this inside day candle. So this is your trend line, right? Your official trend line here on ZI, and we're just below it right here. So let's see if we can push above that trend line and try to work its way back up and go here. So we're actually in a bit of a trend box right here, but it actually comes from this level right here. So we want to see if we can stay above this line right here. Otherwise, we got to push to all-time highs to really shift that trend line over. So we're basically in a big trend box right now on ZI. Michael, yeah, those 240 July monthly call volume. I know, crazy on that one. PDX, what's going on? Thanks for tuning in. Hope you're doing well. Yeah, glad you can make it. Let's see. So let's take a look. Yeah, BKNG, gap close, and then fade. Yeah, so let's take a look here at the BKNG. Yep. So it got up here, right? Gapped up, filled the gap, and then filled the gap down below, right? So it was a crazy price action on this one here today. But let's take a look and see how it's going. So, big down move here initially. right? Worked its way above the trend line, gave you a nice trend box breakout line right here. Here's your candle with good volume that worked its way up, right? And now we're just kind of chopping around between these levels. So we have from here, guys, if you guys want to see these trend lines up, high to the low. Where does it not intersect everything else? Up, down here. So it's kind of a crazy sideways trend line. So when you get these ones that are really flat, you can go to that intersection point and try to put another trend line on it, like here. That's your bump line, right, for the bump and run. And you look for where it doesn't intersect on that one. You got these right here. So right now, right, it's basically trying to work on a trend move down, right, to possibly test this trend line here, which also corresponds with the cloud. So we did get a nice breakdown move on this one. Here is your move. Here's your trend box low. You got a gap down off of that. I like this one too because it had increased volume on a bearish candle. So you got your follow through to the downside on that one. Right now it's just kind of chopping around here, filling this gap. So we're basically in this kind of Bermuda Triangle kind of chop zone right here. So just again, just keep an eye on the price action right here. But for now, we're basically a little bit bearish, right? Unless we could push above today's highs and get strong on that. So crazy fun with trend lines. Good stuff. Appreciate it. Thanks for tuning in. Ankit, what's going on? Doing well. Thanks for tuning in. Let's take a look at BA. Yep, so BA still holding its trend line right there, trying to work its way out of the cloud, so we're definitely tracking to see how it behaves there. Roku with an awesome day today on potential buyout rumor type stuff. Huge volume, big breakout candle out of its trend box. Let's see if it pushes its way up to the 200-day moving average. Oxy. Actually hung in there better than a lot of the other oil names. So it's got some work to do, but at least it gave you a lower shadow to deal with. MDB, spinning top of the 8-day, but after yesterday's strong candle, it might be a doji sandwich potential to the upside. So keep an eye on that one. ZI we covered here today, so it's basically below its trend line right there, but it bounced off the 80 MA. So see how that goes. And then work. Okay, decent move off of the inside day. Right now, it's still kind of fulfilling our head and shoulders potential, right? So let's see how it does here. But it is still a strong candle today with good volume. So again, possible upside potential on that one. And then gush. Yep, still just kind of chopping around down there on the oil and gas, but a red day today. So we got that going on. Good stuff. Thanks, Ankit. Dave, what's going on? RH. Yeah, so it's really hanging in there pretty well. It really gave a nice move. I think, what was it? Warren Buffett liked this one. And then Citron came out and liked this one. Nice recovery. Corona lows right here. Here's your, there's your big breakout level right there. You had a nice, decent candle there. Not a lot of volume, but eventually you got that guy, right? And that gave a move up, came back down, and then just ultimately worked its way back up on RH. The Nest, W. Wayfair, inside day today. Again, just basically closed a little bit below, some of these this level right here, but let's see if we can kind of still try to push and get above that. Good DA work. Yeah, we just took a look at that one there, and for Ankit, so decent candle today. We can put it on the bullish radar if it wants to try to get strong tomorrow if the market's strong. So we'll definitely keep it on the radar there. Miguel, what's going on? Good evening, AMCN. So doing okay on Amazon. A little bit of a Dragonfly Doji on this one, right? It's over its trend line. It's over the geometric line. So if the market's strong tomorrow, Amazon could get potential push on that too. Good stuff, Dave. What's going on? CRSP. Good candle on that one. Nice lower shadow. Nice volume. Looking pretty good. A little bit of a biotech type one. A little bit tricky on that one. Raytheon RTX. Well, it's sort of like Boeing. Actually, it looks a lot like Boeing. And it's, again, this sector has been an important one, right? But this one did break down below some lows right here. So see how that does. It's kind of in the Bermuda Triangle right here, trying to get above the cloud, but it's a little bit blah. But it's over the 80 MA, so it's got that going on. The Nest, yeah, SPCE. Still super duper tight in here. If we, I know I got a lot of lines on this one, so let's do a fresh line right here. I mean, one of the big things right there is this, big triangle that it's working on right here. Okay. So let's see if this thing could pop out of this triangle one way or the other. It's holding the 200-day. Again, maybe once it gets to the cloud, if we can get a nice candle out of here, right, we can get a push up to maybe like that level right there. So see how that ends up playing out. And then IVR. Decent gap up and a pull again, very very similar to a lot of the stocks we've been seeing here. But yep. So just kind of see how those earnings coming up on this one, so it could be pretty interesting. So Miguel, yeah, AMT and Amazon we just looked at, right? But let's take a look at AMT, American Tower. So real estate, type 1, type name, property control type things like that. And right over these levels right here. So it's got some levels it wants to try to get above. It rejected it here today, but let's see if it can give a breakout candle to get above there and probably, and try to move above that. But nice move up here off the inside day. The engulfing candle yesterday gave a nice gap up on that. Good stuff. And then the next you got COCP. Big inside day, but hanging out at the cloud right there. So let's see if that gets any follow through on that one. Again, still within that just decline triangle right there. And the DA XLRE. Yep, so some more real estate stuff right off the 200-day on that one. MAC. Big reversal today on that one, so a little bit tricky there as it's kind of stuck inside the cloud. KPTI. Another biotech name right here, but decent move today with some good volume. It got over the 21-day. And then Penn, back to the casinos. Gap and move down again. That's all about the second wave. So good stuff right there. DA, and then Oxy, you heard that that as long as oil is mid-30s, which you think we are, they turn profits. It could be why they're a little bit more resilient. Nice, yeah, good stuff. Appreciate it. Yeah, thanks for hitting like too, guys. All right, well, good stuff. Well, thanks everybody for tuning in. Really appreciate everybody for being here, and thanks for everybody's comments and questions and chart requests. If you're new here, definitely click subscribe on YouTube, and also hit the notification button, and be sure to hit the like button too. We always appreciate that. And be sure to check out the links in the description. Dave, you got form on there? Let's take a look. Yeah, nice gap up today. I like the gap and push over this pivot level here, and some good volume the last couple of days too. So that's looking good as well. So good stuff. Thank you again, everybody, for tuning in, and we'll see you guys tomorrow. I hope everybody has a great rest of your evening. Stay healthy out there, and remember your risk first and stay safe so you can stay in the game, and I'll talk to you guys soon.